Today I want to share with you my journey from absolute beginner to full-fledged product manager. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let me introduce myself. My name is Ty Palmer. I have more than a decade of experience working as a product manager, product owner, project manager, and entrepreneur. I've been contacted by recruiters from companies such as Amazon, Google, Adobe, Coca-Cola, Stanford, and more, all for jobs I never applied for. If you want to learn more about my background or see some proof to these claims, I put a link to my website in the description below. So my product management journey kind of starts at my first job in school. I worked for a startup as the first employee and fell in love with entrepreneurship. I wore tons of different hats, but the main job functions I did were project management and sales. I was going to study business in school, but my boss persuaded me to choose a different major since the startup experience was, in his words, better than any other schooling I could get. So I decided to study psychology because I had a fascination with personalities and how people interact in the workplace, and I fell in love with data and research and everything that goes along with that. After changing what I thought would be my long-term career a few times during my major, I eventually graduated and found work as a project manager at a local consulting firm. I think my actual title at this job was assessment advisor, but really it was just a project manager working with data and surveys. Side rant, it's really important to list on your LinkedIn profile what your job title actually is based on what you do, rather than list the oddly specific job titles that companies sometimes give. I eventually had recruiters from Google and Western Governors University that I was working with. The Google job was for a more HR specific role to do with hiring. The Western Governors University job was a little less glorified, but it was essentially working as a product owner. I decided I wanted to be in the education industry, so I chose the Western Governors University route, which I'm glad I did. I think my official title was Academic Technology Specialist. Like, what is that? But essentially, after being on the job for a few years, I realized it was a product owner role. And it was kind of unique because I was a product owner for some third-party technologies that the university used. So essentially, I would work with other third-party technologies that we had at the university, and I would inform them about what our users needed or what they needed to change in their software. It was really kind of a unique role, but it was my first glance into what product management was. I started to learn more about their job and realized it was basically like entrepreneurship within a company. So you basically just got to focus on making something cool, and you didn't have to worry about any of the risk. Being kind of a low-risk entrepreneur myself, this really appealed to me. I started looking at product managers within my own organization, and I got to job shadow a few of them. I tried to find networking opportunities and volunteer experience that I could get. I even took some courses and certification, but none of that really helped. Recruiters weren't noticing me. I wasn't getting callbacks for the jobs I applied for until one thing that I did different. I decided to make my own product experience. I started my online MBA program at Western Governors University, and at the same time I decided that I would open a side business where I would apply my MBA and try and get some relevant product management experience. In true product management fashion, I did some competitor research to find something in an area that I knew something about and fill a gap in that market. At the time, my friend showed me his Oculus Rift headset. It was all tethered and there were sensors and it was really clunky. In fact, my friend had to bring his giant custom PC to even power it. But the experience that I had walking a plank off a building or floating in space was really surreal. You could experience this if you went to a VR center or you paid a ton of money for a headset. Oculus was also working on a standalone headset at the time, which means there were no cords and computer necessary to experience VR. I realized there might be some people that want to have VR at like an event center or maybe their own home for a birthday party, but they're not really committed enough to buy the equipment themselves. So I did some market research and some customer interviews to decide if this was something that I could invest some time and money into. It was a side business only meant for weekends and evenings when I wasn't working. I also found a developer friend who was willing to work on a legal waiver for the business just so that I could get some product management experience. I subscribed for a free Confluence account where I was able to create a Jira board and have some tasks on there and work through the development process just like any other product manager would. It was a huge benefit to our business and saved us a bunch of money and gave us a really big competitive edge. The next thing I did was post my experience in my side business on my LinkedIn profile. I made a couple changes and I got a lot of recruiters reaching out to me after I had that experience. Side rant, I don't know why entry-level jobs for product management require 2 to 4 years of experience, but for some reason recruiters think that's possible. So by showing that I had relevant experience in my side business, it helped me qualify for a lot more product jobs and I started getting hounded by recruiters. I won't go into all of my LinkedIn tips and tricks, but I do have other videos if you guys want to subscribe and check out my other stuff that I've done. I had a lot of product management tech opportunities at the time, but I really wanted to stay in the higher education market. I eventually had a recruiter reach out to me from Pearson, which is one of the largest, if not the largest education company in the world. Since I wanted to stay in the education market, I decided to take that offer. Since working at Pearson, I've had the opportunity to do some freelance consulting for product management, as well as some other side businesses where I'm the lead product manager. I really love this field that has so many overlaps with entrepreneurship. It does require you to be a little bit of a self-starter, a great communicator, and know your data. So if you want to learn more about how to break into this amazing field and get some tips and tricks, check out the links in the description below, and also follow me for more content like this. You can also get some more free resources from my website, as well as schedule a free 30-minute consultation to discuss any product-related questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.